President Obama has apparently become Mr. 48%. Take a look at these new NBC Marist Battleground State polls out today. In Florida, Obama leads Romney 48-44, but that's down from a previous 8-point lead. In Ohio, Obama's leading 48-42, but he held a 12-point lead in March. In Virginia, Obama's ahead 48-44. That's down from a once whopping 17-point lead. With just 167 days until Election Day, what does this all mean? Here to break it all down is Democratic strategist, former Clinton advisor Richard Socarides, and CNBC contributor Robert Costa of the National Review. Guys, good to see you. Richard, what do you think of these numbers? What are they telling you?
Well, I mean, I think they're pretty good for the president overall. I think the good news for the Republicans is that Mr. Romney is very competitive. I mean, I think the numbers show that the president is ahead. Incumbents are very difficult to beat, but Romney's going to be very competitive.
All right, Robert?
We're seeing the president below 50% in poll after poll. And that tells me that as much as President Obama may still have a little bit of a lead in these battleground states, Mitt Romney's within closing distance. And at this point in the race, we're only in late May, for Romney to be so close in these key states, Ohio, Florida, Virginia, that bodes very well for him in November. He has a lot of time to close a very narrow gap.
Well, I wouldn't say it bodes very well for him. I think the president is still the favorite. The president has got the better case. It's very hard to beat an incumbent, as I said. And look, he's winning in all these big battleground states. I mean, look at the polling today. I mean, it's clear. And if he wins those 3 states by 4% in November, I mean, he's got it locked up.
Okay, guys, let's Neil get. Hold on 1 second. Let Neil get in here.
Richard, you say he's leading in all these states. I just heard the results of that poll, but earlier this week we had another poll in Florida that showed Romney with a 6% lead in Florida. And what percentage of these voters? We have the diehard Obama, diehard Republican. What percentage is actually up for grabs right now? Well, that's a good question. And in these elections, very small percentages of people up for grabs. And I think, there'll be some back and forth. It's still pretty far out. I saw that Florida poll. The most important number now is the president's overall national approval rating, and he's at about 48%. I mean, and that is enough. It's very close, but that is enough to win. And it's a good number for an incumbent president. The
president's approval rating is great, but let's look at Mitt Romney's approval rating. It's really jumped since the primary. Romney got hammered in the Republican primary. He's used the last month or two to really repair his approval rating. You see it in every poll. And look, we can slice and dice every single poll every week as political junkies, talking about how the president's 48, he's 46, he's all in the high 40s, he's dancing around the high 40s, but what it really comes down to is that he's below 50%. And we can talk about the benefits of incumbency, but I think that benefit incumbency is really only giving him that 4-point lead in those battleground states.
Richard, does the base come out for Obama? Does the base come out for Romney?
I think the president's base will be very strong, and I think what you see now is he's running a campaign designed to get out the Democratic base, to remind Democrats what he stands for, remind Democrats
but the question isn't about the base, it's about independence.
That the president wants to move the country forward. I mean, the problem that Romney has is that he has yet to articulate any vision about what a Romney presidency would mean and how it would bring the country forward.
That's just wrong. Every single ad this week is focused on day one of the presidency. He's had 2 major videos.
Yeah, well, day one of the presidency, but it's a pretty grim day one and day two.
It's a pro-growth message.
Let's Neil get in here.
Richard, you just used 2 phrases that the president wants to move the country forward. Well, isn't that swell? And that Romney has yet to really formulate a vision for the country. I'm a little bit weary of the president wants to move the country forward. Would you mind sharing with us just what he wants to move the country forward?
We all know what it is. It's taxes and spending.
I think that the president's main theme is going to be to remind voters that he inherited a very difficult economic situation and that the economy is improving.
Stop being an interrupter. I can't take it anymore. You've interrupted every answer, and I'm on your side, Robert, okay? So let Richard finish his point.
So I think that the president will make the case that he inherited a particularly difficult economic situation and that the economy is improving.
I mean,
and to the extent, to the extent that the economy continues to improve, especially in these battleground states, which it is, those states that were highlighted at the top of the segment all have unemployment rates that are lower than the national average. I mean, the president is going to do very well, especially as the economy continues to improve.
But this man is
and
running
Mr. Romney
against
has not made a
capitalism.
case for himself.
He is running against
No,
capitalism.
that is not true.
Oh,
the president is a moderate, and the president is for capitalism.
Did you?
Robert, is the president a moderate?
Not at all. All we've seen from him for the past couple weeks is demonizing business, running against Bain Capital, running the same campaign Teddy Kennedy ran against Romney in 1994.
Well, I wish you would tell my Democratic friends on Wall Street. I wish you would tell my Democratic friends on Wall Street that the president is running against them because they.
You talk to big Democratic donors, you know what you hear? They're running away from the president. They're disappointed in the president's anti-business message. You see Obama's super PAC is struggling to get donations. I don't see Wall Street behind the president in the same way they were 4 years ago at all.
And Democrat donations to Obama are largely the payment of protection money more than an approval of his presidency.
Well, listen, I mean, what do you say to that? I mean, that's kind of out of nowhere. But
not really. Come on, you see plenty of corporations that donate in equal amounts to both sides of the aisle, so that way they're protected either way.
Listen,
protection money is a little out there.
Both sides are going to have enough money to run the campaigns they want to run. This is really not really not about who's funding which campaign. It's about a vision for the future, and the president wants to take the country forward, continue the economic progress we've made, and Mr. Romney wants to take the country back to where we were in the Bush days that got us into this problem.
Real quick,
that is very clearly what this election is going to be about.
You say the president wants to take the country forward, but all you're talking about is blaming what happened in the past. I hear President Obama talking about the past.
It's very clear what happened in the past.
I told Robert he could have the last word. Thank you very much. Many thanks to Richard Socarides and Robert Costa, and to our special guest tonight, syndicated talk show host Neil Boris. Thanks so much for joining us.
It has been fun.
Did you enjoy it?
Oh, yeah.
So you're on